coming to Virginia Highland Small Business Incubator's New Knowledge Program. Today we have Josh Mancuso from Mancuso Entertainment, and he is going to be talking to us about the 5 marketing strategies you should be using right now. So again, thank you for everyone that's here, and for those watching online, you will be able to ask questions. So if you have questions during the presentation, just type them in for those online, and we'll try to answer them.
Okay,
So,
no worries.
Without further ado, here is Josh Mancuso. Thank you, Josh, for coming today.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, everybody. How we doing? I've got a lot of cords wrapped around me here. Let me see if I can't fix that. Okay. Good deal. There's a few familiar faces here today. Some of you I think I've never met. How many have been to one of my who has not been to one of my sessions before? Because I've done several here. Okay. All right. Good. Good. Because I'm always afraid I'm talking to the same people and they're going to hear the same thing again. But it's good to have new people. But it would be great for me if I could get a little info from you guys before we get started. Just it helps me to figure out where you are in your business so that I can best address your needs. So I have a presentation. I'll go through it and then we'll just talk as we need to talk. But if you don't mind, real quick, we'll just go around and tell me kind of what you do, your name and what you do.
I'm Karen Schanzenbach. I'm a freelance bookkeeper.
Okay, awesome. So you do bookkeeping for just a number of different companies, small business. Okay, okay.
Jonathan Avenue, Aegis IT Consulting.
Good deal. Good to see you.
Ken Aegis IT Solutions.
So Ken, how are you, man?
Justin Blair, LD Web Design and Marketing. We do most of the web design and SEO stuff.
All three of you guys together?
Yeah.
In the same company, right? Okay.
Different company, but we work a lot together.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Karen Moore, administrator of nonprofit.
Okay.
I'm Dan Swanson. I do home improvement projects that are energy conservation.
Okay.
Jason Harris, insurance.
Okay. Cool. In the back.
Diane Kirchen, Tri-City Security. We do security guards in the Tri-City area.
Okay. Very good.
Samantha Tedder, I'm with the Washington County Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
And Jean Gallagher, I'm the administrative assistant here at the Virginia Highland Small Business Incubator. So thank you all for coming.
Fantastic. And Tim Flanagan, the video guy, is back here live streaming. And this is Kyle Robertson. He works with my team. He's shooting video today. And that's one of the strategies that is not necessarily included here, but it is something, I wouldn't call it a strategy. It's more or less just something you have to do. So if you find yourself teaching a seminar, I would absolutely video it and then use that later in some way. So for us, we'll probably cut this up into smaller bites and put them on social media to help other people and drive traffic to our stuff. So, okay. Well, the title of our presentation, the 5 marketing strategies you should be using right now, and some other stuff that we'll throw in there. But really quick, I'm going to give you a little bit about me. So this will be a little bit of a test. We want to kick this off. Let's have some amount of fun while we're here. So some of these are true and some of these are not true, and I want you to try to figure out which ones you think are true, which ones are not true, okay? So we'll go through them all right? I'll just tell you, two of them are true, and the rest of them are not, okay? So, hey, I used to be a trapeze artist. Yeah, some people are like, I was a child extra in Last of the Mohicans. My secret biological dad is Barack Obama. Some of these are tough. My middle name is Lucius, which means large toes. On the side, I own a hot air balloon business. I once met O.J. Simpson. I am married with 3 children, own a production marketing company. I'm an actor, went to college and all that stuff, live in Johnson City, and I like french fries and dark chocolate, but not sweet tea or sushi. Okay. Which ones are true? And which ones are not true?
The one on the bottom is true.
Very good. Okay, the one on the bottom is true. The second one is the other one that's true? Any other guesses? Because that's not correct.
Okay.
The OJ, yes, I did meet OJ Simpson one time. Yes. This is post murder. Not that he did it, I'm just saying. It's post whatever happened at that time, that one night, in the Bahamas, on spring break. Random story. I'm not gonna tell you much of it. You don't need to know anything else. But yeah, the rest of them are not true. Yeah. I don't think Lucius means large toes. I just made that up. I don't know if that's the case or not. Anyways, yes. My company is Mancuso Entertainment, and we do video production, filmmaking, we do marketing. And so I'm in the middle now of some exciting things of kind of creating a sub-company underneath my company that is dedicated to helping small businesses more intently do good marketing and better tell their stories. And so most of what I do is concerned with telling your story and telling it well, because at this point in time, we need to be telling our stories as small business owners all the time to keep people interested and engaged. So as we get into this, I call them strategies, but really if you have a strategy, you don't have a strategy unless you have a goal first, because your strategy is for what? So I'm going to give you 5 strategies for marketing, but you're going to have specific goals for each of those strategies. And under that, you have tactics. Okay, so it's goal, what is my goal, and then strategy, and then your tactics. And so your goal, essentially, and I know this seems very, very elementary, but is the result or achievement toward which effort is directed. It's your goal. It's what I want to accomplish. It is my desired result. It is the object of my ambition, right? We set goals all the time. So in this case, we're setting goals for our business and goals for our marketing. So you've got to have goals first before you can create a strategy. For example, you don't want to say my strategy is I'm going to post on social media 3 times a day. Well, why? What's the goal that you're trying to accomplish by doing that? So we're going to have to come up with our goal first, and then our strategy, and then the tactics. So the strategy then is creating and executing a plan of action to achieve my goal. All right, it's my course or path. It can be long-term. It can be a big picture. So you've got a goal. This is basically how am I going to get to that goal. That's my strategy. And then tactics. Tactics are the specific steps that I take within my strategy to achieve my goal. So if strategy is kind of big picture, tactics are in the details, and it's sort of the means to an end. So you've got your goal. This is how I'm going to accomplish the goal, and these are the parts and the things I'm going to use to fulfill the strategy that I've put in place. Right? So as an example, does anybody hike? Like to hike? Justin hikes. People hike. If you were going to hike, I just threw a 12-mile mountain in one day, which certainly can be done. That's the goal. I want to hike this mountain today. All right. The strategy is I'm going to determine which side of the mountain I want to climb, which trails I'm going to follow, and what time I'm going to get started. All right. That's the strategy, because that will lead you to success. But then your tactics are going to be, what specific gear do I need? Do I need to have rain gear? Do I need to wear hiking boots? What specific maneuvers will we make? Are there places where we're going to have to climb a rock, or we're going to have to do something different in some way? I need to make sure I have all the tools that I need. What adjustments should we be prepared for? Okay, so the reason I'm separating these two is because strategy and tactics are not the same thing, and we tend to use those terms interchangeably. Like, my strategy is I'm going to pack this type of gear. Well, that's really a tactic, and you really want to follow this in order. What is my goal? What is my strategy? And what are my tactics to get there? A much bigger goal would be to climb a rock face that is 1,200 feet high without any ropes or anything. Have you guys seen the movie Free Solo? Has anybody seen Free Solo? It's a documentary about, what's his name? His name has escaped me at the moment. Anyways, he's a guy that climbs mountains without any rope at all. So it's already scary enough to climb mountains with rope and people attached to you and everything, big cliffs, but I'm talking about cliffs with tiny little grooves in them without any ropes or anything to protect himself. And it won an Oscar for Best Documentary. And so I'm going to play it. I don't know if this will be loud enough, but we'll give it a shot. This is the trailer for that film. Alex Honnold, that's his name.
Know a little bit about climbing. They're like, oh, he's totally safe. And then people who really know exactly what he's doing are freaked out. I've thought about that like for years, and every year I'm like, that's what
Can you hear?
I'll never be content unless I at least put in the effort.
Do you have a speaker system?
Oh, yeah, this is the most impressive wall on Earth. It's 3,200 feet.
What's that? There is. Will this play out of there? Okay. Because it's not going to be as cool if you can't hear it, right? So let's go in here and make this. Okay. Let's see if this is any better. Much better.
Does it feel different to be up there without a rope?
It's obviously like much higher consequence.
People who know a little bit about climbing, they're like, oh, he's totally safe. And then people who really know exactly what he's doing are freaked out.
I've thought about cap like for years, and every year I'm like, that's really scary. I'll never be content unless I at least put in the effort. El Cap is the most impressive wall on Earth.
It's 3,200 feet of sheer granite. It's the center of the rock climbing universe.
Obviously I get interview questions about it all the time. Oh, would you like to do that? You're like, yes, for sure.
So your girlfriend now, I heard.
It's awesome. Pretty much makes life better in every way.
It's really hard for me to grasp why he wants this. But if he doesn't do this stuff, he'd regret it.
Everybody who has made free soloing a big part of their life is dead now.
I haven't been injured in like 7 years. I suddenly start getting injured all the time.
What if something happens? What if I don't see him again?
I could just walk away, but it's like, I don't want to.
I've always been conflicted about shooting a film about free soloing just because it's so dangerous. It's hard to not imagine your friend falling through the frame to his death.
I think when he's free soloing is when he feels the most alive, the most everything. How can you even think about taking it away from somebody?
No mistakes tomorrow.
It's going to be a kind of fight.
If you're pushing the edge, eventually you find the edge.
I can't believe you guys actually watch.
Hey Jimmy, can you call me? Just started recording.
So the stakes aren't quite as high for us necessarily, and I'm pretty confident that Alex has a screw loose. If you're going to go climbing 3,200 rock faces without any ropes or anything, but it's what he does, and he's succeeded every time he's done it, and it's amazing. However, let's say you're Alex. All right, I'm going to put it in your court. I want you guys to answer. What's Alex's goal? What was his goal? To climb El Capitan, that's right, and not die, right? To climb El Capitan. All right. So, if he's thinking through strategy, what is he probably thinking about?
Gotta work up to it.
Yeah, physically, like yeah. You see him doing pull-ups with just the edges of his fingers, like he does pull-ups in his van up with just his fingernails. Yes, and that's actually part of the film. He talks about, I think I'm going to try this right. So he does a couple test climbs to see, okay, and there's this one spot he gets to, and he's like, I'm not sure if I should go this way or go this way. And so he, over time, figures out which way he's going to go. And when he comes back to climb it, he goes you could watch it, but he chooses the harder of the two routes, and it works out, obviously, because he lived to tell about it. But yeah, so a little more big picture, determine which side of the face he's going to climb. And then what about tactics? What would his tactics be?
What the temperature's going to be, so what he needs to wear.
Yes, absolutely. Thinking through weather. If it rains, we're out, right? We're not going to go. And also, you know, the gear, the clothes, the shoes, the climbing dust. What do you call it? Yeah, the chalk pouch. All the things that he needs. And really, the timing conditions have to be just right for him. Has to be just right for him to do it. So, really, our goals are not as big as his, but we're going to go through some goals that I think will be good for you guys. And so you're going to end up getting more than 5 strategies, but let's go with, these are goals I came up with. Your goals could be different. These are goals that I think you should have. Goal number 1 is to drive more traffic to your website. All right, that is a goal that we all should have, drive more traffic to my website. And so strategy number 1, and under goal number 1, I've actually got 3 strategies under goal number 1, and each other goal just has one strategy. But strategy number 1 for driving more traffic to your website is distribute social media posts to my fan base and remind them of what I do. And the way I kind of like for this to go from this point on is I really like for you all to think through the tactics side. I put some tactics up there based on what I think it should be, but really you know your business and you're going to be the one thinking about what the tactics are. I'm not in your business every day. So, but strategy 1 is distribute social media posts to my fan base and remind them of what I do. So in my mind, this can include, the specifics would be interesting and unique content like personal stories about yourself. What I call cliffhangers, things when you tell a story but you don't give them everything. Don't give everything to them, and so they've got to then go to your website or put their email address in or something to get them to get the rest of the story, right? So cliffhangers. Let me tell you about the time that I, almost sunk my business and filed bankruptcy. But okay, I'll put my email address in. I want to hear about that. I want to hear that story. Contests and other incentives would be tactics that you can use to get people to engage with you on social media. And then any kind of visuals that you put out there. Video is huge. I'm going to always push that. And then polls. Polls are a really important part of social media interaction because people like when you're scrolling through their feed. Your goal when you're posting on social media is to stop the scroll. You want to stop the scroll because people they're just doing this, doing this, doing this. Whoa, what's going to make them stop the scroll? We could stop right here and just go home. Like that is you got to make them stop the scroll. And so that's why your content has to be interesting and unique. You got to have cliffhangers. Contests and other incentives tend to work. And polls are good. People love to be interactive with it. And you can now do, when you upload videos, you can put a poll inside your video. If you knew that or not, you can so when people are watching a minute-long video, halfway through you can pop a poll up that says whatever you want them to vote on. And it gets more engagement. And Facebook's already shown that they're getting more engagement from videos that have polls inside of them. It's just compounding. Social media every day is getting more and more complex, and we've got to be on top of it. So you need to have content coming out all the time, as much as you can. Would anybody have any other tactics you would add to this list in terms of, like, if your goal is to drive more traffic to your website, that means you want to have social media posts that pop up and then remind your fan base of what they do and then give them the reason to click. What else would you anybody have any tactics or things you think would work to get someone to click to your site, anything you've used? That I didn't already list?
I saw a while back on a billboard, it was an entire billboard, and it was just the website with no context. I went there. I didn't know what it was.
Because you were curious, yeah. Yeah.
And so it created curiosity, kind of, created history.
Yeah. Something else with social media too, if you post a link to something, a lot of times whatever default image is on that web page is what pops up in your link in Facebook, like that's what is shown. And a lot of times it's a no good image, or it's like a half of your logo or something. It does not engage you. So I would always change that image. You can upload your own image to that. pick an engaging image that people are going to be more likely to click on your site if they see a real image and rather than just kind of the default stuff that's there. So that's something to think about. But the goal is to get people from your social medias to your website, which is funny because part of your goal of your website is to get people from your website to social media. You want them back and forth all the time. But if your goal is to get them to your website, then getting good content out there on social media will absolutely go a long way. But kind of the second part of that, and this is my second strategy underneath this same goal, is to distribute social media ads to a specific demographic related to your business. Okay, so there's obviously a difference between the ads and the posts. So a post, you need to be posting frequently and often and having good content out there, but then strategically, occasionally putting an ad out. And so when you do a post, obviously it goes to the people who already currently follow you. Right? You can boost that post and add other people to that mix if you want other people to see it outside of your fan base. So if you have 500 people that follow you on Facebook, those 500 are the ones that are going to see it. Now, if you don't boost if you don't spend a little bit of money and boost it, only about 5% or maybe are going to see your post. And that's why ads are so important. Facebook is a pay-to-play platform, and they want you to pay to play. So you're going to have to, at some point, to really make a huge impact. But what would be great is if, I know, sir, you said you do insurance, and so I'm sure there's regulations and things that you can't put out there, but there's a lot I'm sure that you could, is if you had a free ebook that answered a burning question that someone has about insurance, something that no one thinks about, or something that they always think about and they just don't know. And it was a free ebook. It was 2 or 3 pages long. It was something easy you could give away, and that would get them to go to your website. Right? Go to my website to download this free ebook on, how you can get, the best insurance in the world for $5. I know you can't say that because of regulations, but something catchy that you can use. Do that. Flash sales, special offers always go a long way. So like one time only, right? My wife is big time on the one time only. When she gets ads about, Belk is having a sale, and she's like, Saturday we need to go to Belk because they're having a sale. And I'm like, we don't have a lot of money right now. Maybe we can go next weekend. She's like, but it's one day only. I'm like, okay, it's one day only, right? But it'll probably be one day only again next Saturday as well, and other days. So, but it's just it's a tactic for getting you to go to the store that day. So that's the same kind of thing you want to do. Give people a time frame. I'm doing this for this amount of time, and then it's over. That will get people to click to your site. And then captivating video as well. Again, the goal is to stop the scroll and have them click on it and go to your site. So you're coming up with other tactics. So ads are great because you can target anybody that you want to target. Demographics by age, gender, job, location, interests, everything. It's scary, right? You guys know the back end of this stuff. It's amazing what you can do. So my third strategy that I would put underneath our drive more traffic to the website is to create a paid search campaign with the Google ads and send people to your site who are looking for what you offer. This is great, right, because they are literally in Google searching for exactly what you do. And if you pop up, they're going to click on you and they're going to check you out. Has anyone used Google ads before? Do you have success with them?
When it's, yeah. But there's a lot of front-end research that's been done for it to be successful.
For it to be right, absolutely. And I think something that well, let me ask you this. If you haven't used Google ads, you guys tell me why you haven't used Google ads. Is it because you don't understand it, or because I just don't know what to do, like what to put out there, or is it cost? What prevents you right now from doing Google pay-per-click ads? Cost?
For referrals anyway. Like
Direct referrals, yeah. One of the things that I find helpful with Google ads is that if you have a specific reason for people to go to your site, right? So you create a specific landing page that is about a particular area of your business that you really want people to do. So I worked with a company that we did some ads for a university, and they had a new program that they were launching. They really wanted people who were searching for this particular program to then be directed to their site, right? That's a very specific use of Google Ads, rather than just being like, people looking for insurance. Okay, you could get caught up in a lot of things, but if it was like a very specific type of insurance for a specific type of person, I think Google Ads could be beneficial to you. Blog posts. Blog posts do really well with search engine optimization. They used to. I mean, I think if you still do your keywords right, those are good. And again, flash sales and special offers. Again, it depends on what you do and what you're willing to put out there. Okay, so that's kind of goal number 1 for drive more traffic to my website. And again, there's a lot of strategies and a lot of tactics that can be employed for these types of things. With the 3 that we went over, social media posts, social media ads, and then Google Ads. Do you guys have any thoughts or questions or disagreements or anything about that so far? Okay. We're all tracking. It's good. Okay. So goal number 2 that I've got for us is to reach people who have already interacted with me, but they didn't convert. Right? So they've been to my website, they've been to my Facebook page, they've kind of learned a little bit about me, but they didn't click buy, they didn't click for more information, they didn't submit the form to get more information, they didn't call the number, they didn't take the action steps that you want them to take, but they were there. Right? Those are good. Why are those good people to market to? Because they're already semi-interested in what you do, right? They're at least already, they've been there, so they're at least semi-interested a little bit. So if they've been there, they searched around, they've looked at some stuff, they have explored your site, they've explored your Facebook page, they've liked your stuff, but they haven't bought anything, then the strategy, in my mind, is to create retargeting campaigns based on people who have visited your website pages, your social accounts, and more. And so, are you guys familiar with retargeting and what it is? So retargeting, if you've ever been to a site, let's say you were on Amazon and you were looking at a sweater that you liked, that you were going to order. You didn't order it, but you just checked it out. And then the next day you're on CNN.com and an ad pops up for a green sweater like you were looking at, and you're like, wow, that's retargeting. They knew you were there, and they sent this back to you. So they do. There's a lot of technical jumbo with cookies and pixels and whatnot that they do to make that all happen. But it essentially is targeting people that have already come to you, but they didn't buy anything. Those are good because it's essentially a warm lead. It's the equivalent of a warm lead. They've already heard about you, and so they're at least semi-interested. I would recommend, I don't want to get too deep into this because this would be a whole day we could spend on how to do retargeting, but there's a company called Perfect Audience, and do you guys do retargeting for people? Okay. Do some suggestions company. You can talk to him a little bit, but there's a company called Perfect Audience. So I would check them out for sure. Look at what they do. It's a free trial. You can try them out. They essentially will get people who have been to your page, they've been to your social accounts, and they'll do their little deal, and they'll get ads out there for you. It could be pretty cost effective. Again, I would suggest if you got $100, just try it and see if you can get some people back who you lost, essentially. It's kind of like, you're at like a trade show and you've got your booth set up and you have people coming by and they're talking to you, and this one couple, they seem pretty interested, and then they go on, and it's like you're going to go find them before they leave the conference, before they leave the trade show, and bring them back to your booth and tell them again, look, this is what I've got for you. That's what you're doing, essentially. So the tactics there, I mean, again, I just kind of copied and pasted the ebook and the flash sale. Those certainly are good things, but it could be a lot of it is brand recognition. It's like, hey, I was just on their site, and then this thing popped up that said, oh, I want to go back there. But you can target them based on really specific stuff. So if they're looking at a particular part of your page, you can then target them back with that exact thing. It's very, very cool, and a little creepy as well. So, retargeting. Goal number 3 is to stay in direct communication with my audience so I can provide them specific info on a regular basis. So for me, the logical strategy for staying in direct communication with my audience all the time, which is extremely important, would be consistent quality email campaigns. Email campaigns are not done. I think a lot of people say, I'm done with email. Nobody checks their email. It's too, it's spam. I mean, I have a probably 30% or higher email success rate with people that are opening and looking at my emails, which is pretty high. And because I don't know what the standard is right now in the industry is probably below 20, 15 to 18, I think maybe is the average. But it's still 15 to 18% of your audience who's still looking at your stuff, right? So if you can get anywhere from 15 to 30% of the people who subscribe to you to look at your stuff on a regular basis, that's more people than you had before. Email is still a worthy way to go. And what I would do is I would consistently send out helpful, added value information to them that is helpful for them without asking for anything in return. It's not a sale. It's not anything like that. It is that let me tell you how I can, this tip and this tip and this tip like that. And you do that so often, and then when you come back with a sell, they're more likely to listen. So one of my favorite guys, Gary Vaynerchuk, he calls it jab, 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 right hook. He's got a book with that same title. It is like, I'm giving you information, I'm giving you information, I'm giving you information, and I come back with a sell, and you're like, yeah, I'll buy, because you've earned the right to be heard, right? And so, but here's the thing about your emails. Your emails can't be boring, okay? They just can't be boring. They have to be engaging. It's just like you got to stop the scroll. You got to give some people a reason to click on the subject in your email, and then a reason to read it. They can't be long. My emails are typically like a paragraph. I mean, I subscribe to a marketer named Seth Godin. He has a daily blog. He sends out a daily email, and it's like 2 or 3 lines, and that's it. It's like a tweet in an email. But I check it because I know it's going to be short. I know it's going to be chock full of wisdom, and I like it. And then when he sends out, hey, I got a new book, I'm like, okay, let me go check it out. All right, so that's the strategy with email marketing. Any thoughts on email? Do you guys use email now? One of the biggest things is to build your list, right? You got to have somebody to email too. And so we're actually going to talk about that a little bit in a second. But social media is a great place to help build your list.
One thing I'll say is emails are more likely to be clicked on if there's a video inside of it.
Yes.
And if you put a picture or some kind of content like that that can be tracked with some email programs, you can see who's opened your emails and who hasn't.
Yeah. What do you use for for email? What company? Like, do you use MailChimp or?
MailChimp is good for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, MailChimp, and then I used to work for a political campaign, and so of course we had all that through a different software.
Right. Okay. MailChimp is good because it's free, up to like 2,000 subscribers, I think, or 1,000, and they have all those tools. Yeah. And you'll know, I mean, I get notifications when somebody unsubscribes, like kind of a weekly update, like these people unsubscribed, these people, clicked on this stuff. Tip, don't look at who unsubscribes from your list, by the way, because you got friends and people in there, and you're like, oh, I can't believe they would unsubscribe from my list. It's like hurtful. So don't look at who they are, okay? It's just, it hurts. I'm not bitter, though, at all. Yes, there's a lot of good tracking information inside of MailChimp, and other Constant Contact is one people use. Active Campaign is a really good one. Active Campaign is extremely robust, and it can be a challenge. So if you want to dive in like really deep and like be the email king of the world, Active Campaign is a great way to go. If you want to just utilize email at its best kind of surface level, MailChimp is a good way to go. But again, consistent communication, quality information that is legitimately helpful. One thing okay, so I have a couple friends that are actually in the insurance. I keep picking on our insurance guy. They're in the insurance business, and they both work for the same company. I forgot who it is. Like if it's a Nationwide, I don't know. I forgot who it is. But I get emails from them, but they're the same email. One guy lives in New York, and one guy lives in North Carolina. They're the same email because it is a cookie cutter system from their parent company, and they just have their name at the bottom of it, right? That's what it is. So I haven't unsubscribed to them because they're friends. I don't want them to go through the emotional turmoil I've gone through when people unsubscribe from my list. But I delete them. I just delete because I know that it's the same thing in both of them, and that's not what you want to do. All right, you want to have original, really captivating content inside there. And again, part of my services, and is I can help you come up with really good content to put in there. That's what I do. That's my specialty, is writing good content and getting you tools to tell your story in a way that people care and they open it and they engage with you. That's what I do. Okay, goal number 4. We're just moving through this. Assert myself as an expert who can solve problems for my audience. All right, so that's our goal, is for you to show yourself as an expert, as a leader in your industry who can solve problems for your audience. Because your audience has a problem of some kind that you solve. You may not look at it that way all the time, but they do. They have a problem, and you have a solution. All right, so you want to come to them with your solution, assert yourself as an expert. And so the strategy is to then share your knowledge with others through live and online events. So obviously for me, this is an opportunity for me to do exactly that right now, so that you believe I'm an expert in what I do, and that I'm good at what I do, and that I can help you solve your problems with marketing, with storytelling, those types of things. And so for you, you're thinking through, okay, how can I be part of a live event or part of an online event and share my knowledge with other people? So within that, your tactics could be, I love things that start off with 3 things you didn't know about blank. 3 things you didn't know about blank. What could you fill in that with what you do? How could you complete that sentence? I'm a big fan of the PAR story arc. I use that on a regular basis. PAR, it's problem, action, resolution. You're coming at your audience and you're saying, you have this problem. And here are the actions that I have taken and my company has taken to help you solve that problem. And here's the resolution at the end. This is how your life is going to be better because of the actions that I can help you provide. So PAR, if you literally come at all of your content with a PAR strategy, you'll get really far, because people have a problem, they want you to solve it. You have the answer, and at the end, the resolution. So it's just my life is struggling because I have this issue. Oh, well, this person has an answer. This is the action they've taken. I engage in that, and then the resolution is my life is better because of that. I mean, I can apply this all day to what you guys do, to the IT world, all day long. And so I think, my advice would be keep framing it as you guys have a problem. You have the issues that you don't have time for it, you don't have the know-how for it, you don't have these types of things, but we do. And instead of fumbling around, trying to figure out how to do all this stuff, you're spending your time doing what you're supposed to be doing while we're making sure that your stuff runs properly all the time, or whatever. That's off the cuff, but that's a great arc to use all the time. And so when you're teaching, when you're doing things, and when I say online, I mean a number of things. One, you could host your own webinar. All right, you can use any of the Zoom or any of the conferences that you could do your own webinar, essentially for free. Give people the knowledge they need, help solve their problems, and at the end, close with an offer. If you want more information, I can help you do this by XYZ. Obviously, teach seminars, workshops, webinars, all on there are the tactics for asserting yourself as an expert who can solve problems for your audience. But it also could look like a blog post that you write that then goes on LinkedIn, goes on all your channels, and you're consistently asserting yourself as the expert as much as you possibly can. That's important because people want to work with other people who they believe know what they're doing and who are experts. And trust is a big thing in business, and so this helps build trust with your audience. Okay, number 5. That's our last goal. Create awareness about my business and gain more followers and contacts. Okay, so this is kind of all about building I need more people following me. I need more people on my email list. I need more of these things so that I can then reach out to them, specifically. And so one of the strategies could be to develop social media ads with landing pages to reach new people. Again, it goes back to some of the giveaways, the flash sales, those type of contests, those types of things. One of the probably the best. I did something recently. I gave away a few movies on Facebook. I don't know if anybody saw that. Anybody follows me, but I gave away some movies. 3 Oscar-nominated movies, Blu-rays. I was like, I got these. I'm gonna give them away. I was like, so just put your email address in here, and we'll randomly pick somebody, and we'll ship them off to you. And so I had a handful of people that signed that were like, yeah, I like 3 free movies, and they signed up, and then, what it cost me to buy the Blu-rays and ship them was not that much, and I got a good, decent chunk of email addresses out of it, and now I can hit them up. Right, so that's kind of your goal. Is what can I? You don't want to be gimmicky, but you want to be able to give people something and get their info in return. So you're always thinking like, how can I get their email address? Well, contests are good for that. Giveaways are good for that. And I said landing pages because even in MailChimp, I think you can create your own landing page where someone they see an ad on social media that says, hey, here's this amazing thing I want to give you. You're like, okay, they click on it, put your email address in here. Great, now they're in your system, and then you give them the thing that you told them you would give them. And again, I can help you do stuff like that. Justin's company could probably help you do stuff like that. But the goal is to get as many followers and people as you can. Now, if you want to build up some people are like, well, I need more likes on my Facebook page. I need more people following my Facebook page. I think that's true. And you can do a campaign specifically targeted to just getting more likes. My 2 cents would be to not worry too much about that and rather spend ad dollars on just getting your message out there, right? So rather than paying for likes, pay for clicks or pay for people to go into your site, things like that. Because just because they like your page, oh great, I got 1,000 new likes over the past 6 months. Now I'm gonna post on my page and they're going to see it. No, only 5 to 10% are still even going to see it anyways. And so I would say if you're going to spend money on social media, spend it by not gaining new likes, but by getting new people engaged by clicking on what you want them to click on. All right. For me, a lot of times it's here's a new video I made. Look how awesome it is. And I don't even have a call to action. It's just like, watch this video. It's really good. And they watch it and they're like, wow, I want a video that looks like that. And so then they contact me, right? So it's, how can you frame up your work so that people will want to contact you and get more information? Let's recap, and then we'll wrap up with a couple of questions and some other things I want to show you. So here's our recap. Number 1, drive more. I'll just take a picture of this because we could just skip to this from the beginning. But I want to drive more traffic to my website using social media posts and ads, and if you want, paid search options with Google. Okay, number 2, I'm going to reconnect with lost visitors by developing retargeting campaigns that remind people what their problem is and what my solution is. Number 3, stay in regular communication with my audience by sending consistent email campaigns that add value to them and offer my services. Number 4, assert myself as an expert in my industry by teaching live events or hosting a webinar. And number 5, gain more followers and contacts by leveraging social media campaigns that give people a reason to share their email address with me. Now I realize in the world of marketing, we could have 5 totally different things up here right now. There's so much that we could be talking about, and I've talked about a lot of it before. To be honest with you, I came up with some new stuff than what I've talked about in the past, because I don't want to beat the same people over the head with the same things that I always talk about. So, but these 5 things, I believe if you did these 5 things on a regular basis, I think you'd be pretty successful. So here's a challenge that I've got for you, is could you dedicate 1 hour per day to marketing? That's a decent chunk of time. But could you literally dedicate 1 hour per day to marketing? For most large companies, they say that about 10% of your budget should be marketing. 10 to 12% should be marketing. So could you spend 10 to 12% of your day on marketing? It would be worth it, I think. Here's my second challenge to you, is to become obsessed with data and analytics. There's never been a time in the history of the world in which you could actually track whether or not your marketing is working than right now. There's no reason to be shooting in the dark anymore. You've got so many analytics in Facebook. They're just there. They just got to go look at them. And Instagram has incredible insights. MailChimp, LinkedIn, your website. You've got Google Analytics. You've got there's a website called Hotjar that I will show you in just a minute that is pretty cool. But analytics and data can really change how I do things. So I'm going to show you another movie clip. This is a trailer of a movie. Have you seen the movie Moneyball with Brad Pitt? It's fantastic. It's about his, he plays a character, I forgot the guy's name now, but he is the, I guess, general manager of the Oakland A's back in the late 80s, early 90s. And he completely transforms their team. They have no money, and they win more games in baseball than anybody else with the worst players, but he used data and analytics in order to win. It was really cool. So let's take a look.
There are rich teams and there are poor teams. Then there's 50 feet of crap. And then there's us.
That's $1, man.
What?
Welcome to Oakland.
I need more money.
We're not New York. Fine players are the money that we do have.
I like the risk. And an ugly girlfriend. Ugly girlfriend means no confidence.
You guys are talking the same old nonsense like we're looking for Fabio. We got to think differently.
Who's Fabio?
Your goal shouldn't be to buy players, your goal should be to buy wins. And in order to buy wins, you need to buy runs.
Who are you?
I'm Peter Brand.
First job in baseball?
It's my first job anywhere.
We're gonna shake things up. Why don't you walk me through the board?
I believe there's a championship team that we can afford because everyone else undervalues them, like an island of misfit toys.
We want you at first base.
I won't even play catcher.
It's not that hard, Scott. Tell him watch.
It's incredibly hard.
He can't throw.
But what can he do?
You want me to speak?
Whatever money you get.
He gets on base.
We are card counters at the blackjack table. We're gonna turn the odds on the casino. I'm heading in. Text me to play-by-play.
Wait, what?
I don't watch the games.
Billy Bean has tried to reinvent a system that's been working for years. It was a nice theory, just not working out.
How long is Billy Bean gonna last?
He's proven himself right out of the job.
In their minds, it's threatening the game. It's threatening the way that they do things.
Hey, Daddy, do you think you'll lose your job?
What? Where did you hear that?
Or go on the internet sometimes?
Don't go on the internet. Watch TV or talk to people.
You're discounting what scouts have done for 150 years?
What the hell am I doing?
What is happening at Oakland?
It defies everything we know about baseball.
Crazy!
If we win with this team, we'll change the game. This better work. I'm just kidding.
Definitely worth the watch. If you haven't seen that, I would totally watch it. But the way that they use, obviously Jonah Hill's character, the young guy who comes in and says, I have a way that you can win, and it's by getting players who are not as good. But it actually reminded me of another emotionally scarring story from my own life. When I played Little League, I was good at baseball, but there was a couple years there, like in 6th, 7th grade, where I wasn't that great. And so I led our team in strikeouts. Not as a pitcher, as a batter. Led our team in strikeouts, but I had the highest on-base percentage of anyone on the team, which is ironic because I had a really good eye, and so I walked a lot. I got some hits and stuff, but I walked a lot. And so I remember one time our two coaches arguing over whether or not to put me in the leadoff spot, because one coach was like, no, he strikes out too much, and the other coach was like, yeah, but he has the best on-base percentage of anybody on the team. And I was like sitting there like, okay, whatever. And it was just so funny. But at the end of the day, I mean, they did play me there, and I did get on base a lot. And so how can you rethink your analytics and your data? How can you leverage your data and your analytics to actually do really well? So, for example, there's been stuff that I've posted. I'm thinking there's no way people are going to care about this, and it's like, and people like love it, and it gets great engagement. Well, then you need to take note of that if that happens for you, and do more of that, right? So you just kind of build on what you're already doing well with and what's performing really well. And so you need to be monitoring those analytics as much as you possibly can. And if you need help with that, that's when people like myself can help you do that. I have a girl that works with me. She's incredible at looking at Instagram analytics. She can break down your Instagram in a heartbeat and tell you exactly what's working, what's not working, who's clicking, who's not clicking, all that stuff. And it's amazing. So that stuff is going to be the key to your success in marketing going forward. And I want you just to know that. So Hotjar, I'm going to show you the little screenshot of that in a second, but Google Analytics and your social analytics are all free tools that you have access to right now. It takes time to learn some of it, but if you get in there and you really invest some time, you can discover what's working and what's not working. And if you're willing to shell out a little bit of money, you can get somebody like myself or Justin or somebody to kind of help you do that and figure out what all this means and how we can then capitalize on it. But you got to know where you are so you can know where to go. And the analytics tell you where you are, what's working, what's not working. So hotjar.com is really cool. It's free to sign up. Obviously you get a little bit of free stuff, and then there's bigger plans you can sign up for. But for example, it takes these amazing images of your site and shows you this is where people are clicking the most. This is where they're hovering the most. You can even they can do like live recordings of people on your site. So you see the mouse and where it goes, and they trace, like you can see their pattern. There's definitely typically a Z pattern. All right, our eyes when we look at websites take a Z pattern. We go here first, and their eyes go over here, and then they come down here, and then they go over here. That's how it typically works for most people. And you can see they'll even have like a tracer on the mouse, and you'll see where people are going. Well, they kind of went over here. And they went over here, then they scrolled, and it's amazing the information you can gather. I mean, it's creepy, but it is amazing what you can gather by using tools like this. Because you'll find out, well, nobody's clicking. I've had this nobody's clicked on this entire thing. The whole time I've had this section, nobody's looked at it. Take it off the site, right? Take it off and put something else there. Everybody loves this part, so do more of that, right? So that's what analytics are for, is figuring out what's working and what's not working. So Hotjar is a great resource. For me, this is my stuff, Facebook and Instagram, and then my email address. You're welcome to reach out to me anytime. And if you just have questions, my initial consultation is always free just to chat. If you just were like, hey, I enjoyed your presentation, but now I'm confused, you can give me a call, and I'm happy to sort through anything with you. And again, anytime I teach something, I feel like I walk away with either A, having overloaded people with so much information they just can't handle it, or B, told them things they maybe already knew. But regardless, I think either one of those things are okay, because marketing is a big, big, vast world that is very difficult to handle. And people like me are here to kind of be your guide and help you figure it out and how to do it well and how to be successful with it. Because you're at a point now you can't not do marketing. You really can't not do social media, and in my mind, you really can't not do email. You've got to do stuff. You can't do it all, but you can do a lot, and you need to be doing as much as you can. So that's it. You guys have any initial thoughts or questions about how I'm going to put the strategy back up there, that kind of final slide? I would just look at this. I mean, honestly, if you didn't listen to anything I said, just take that and go home with it and figure out how can I do these 5 things and do them really well. Questions? Yes, sir?
So, and this might be dependent on the industry, but do you find that organic search or paid search has better long-term results?
Oh, man.
I know it's probably a whole conversation.
I know, about with Google specifically?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my approach has always been organic as much as you can until you feel like you have to do paid, kind of, right? So it's like we're in a spot where we need customers right now, or it's going to get really bad. Then it's like, okay, we're going to empty some money and we're going to do some paid search. But I feel like there's a lot to be done in your websites, in your social media posts, and your things that you can really get pretty far up there organically if you do it right. So my answer would be organic carries more value than paid. But if you have a specific thing, again, back to the, a specific thing you want people to know or a specific service that you're highlighting, then I think paid could be valuable. Like the college I mentioned, that made sense for them to do that. Okay, what you do, it may not make as much sense. But the organic, there's a lot you can do with organic, I know, to boost your rankings. It's your blog posts, it's your your keywords in your website, as to what your title tags are. It's all that IT speak and web speak that is important. It's titling your images right? I mean, even that contributes to your organic results on Google. Another thing that contributes to is video. I mean, Google owns YouTube. They love video. They want you to use video. So any video you take, like this video, we'll probably upload it to YouTube. No one will ever watch it. Doesn't matter, because it's going to help. We load it with keywords. We load it with the right titles, and then people, when they're searching for marketing stuff, I'm more likely to come up in Google's because I have the video there, right? So as much video content as you can put up there, the better. That's a long answer for your question. But yeah, that's my thought. Yes.
I have a question about email providers.
Yeah.
MailChimp, Constant Contact, MailGun. I think there's literally like 7 dozen.
Yeah.
Which, you've got someone with a low budget and someone with a high budget. Which one would you probably push towards or recommend?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would, and I haven't used everyone out there, so I can't speak for all of them, obviously. But the ones I've investigated would be MailChimp is the best free option available in my mind. And then the best paid option would be ActiveCampaign, just because it's extremely robust and you can create a lot of really good autoresponders in there. They have a kind of an amazing kind of diagram of okay, so I hosted this webinar. Here's all the people that signed up for it and attended it. All right, they all go into this bucket in my email campaign. Here's all the people that signed up for it but didn't actually attend. They're in this bucket. Out of the people that were at the webinar, here are the 5 at the end who then bought my product at the end. They go into this bucket over here. So now the email that I'm going to send to them is going to be different than the email I send to them, because I don't want to send the email to them, hey, buy this product. Well, these 5 already bought it, so they don't want to get that again. But these other 25, they didn't buy it, so I want to keep hitting them up, right? So ActiveCampaign is really good about segmenting and getting into deep, deep abyss of stuff, and they're really good at that, and that's what it's useful for. So if that's valuable to you, it's like $15 a month, I think, to get started into kind of their lowest tier, and that's not that much, but that would be my recommendation as of now. And there may be others that are out there that would be better, and I've done a lot of research to try to figure that out for that very reason. But that's kind of my MailChimp and ActiveCampaign. Yeah. It's how deep you want to go into the abyss. Was this helpful? I mean, there's a lot of information in there, I know, but hopefully you guys had some good nuggets you can walk away with. And my biggest fear is walking away from this and you guys not taking action with it. I just want you to know that I didn't Google like 5 marketing strategies that to work, and then just copy and paste them in. This is like years of me figuring out what is working and what is working right now. Because what's working now wasn't working maybe even 5 years ago. This is what's working now. And there's other stuff you can do that would work too. This is not the only thing. These are just 5 important things I think you should be doing. And I'm confident saying if you do them, that you'll have success. Absolutely.
Oh, one other thing. I know that the trend has been more mobile devices. Have you had anyone with success on like the Apple iAds and the, like the things that pop up? Because if I'm on an app and it's got ads popping up, I just immediately ignore it.
Yeah.
But somebody's because I keep seeing ads.
Because it keeps happening, yes. Yeah. Yeah, my kids see ads all the time in their games on the phone because they're not allowed to buy the full version. They have to just deal with the ads. But yeah, I feel the same way about that as I feel about YouTube ads. And some marketers will tell you need to run, they call them pre-roll ads. When you go to watch a YouTube video, there's the video beforehand, that's the ad, and you can click to skip after 5 seconds a lot of times. I'm just waiting for that thing to come up, and I'm just like, bam, and I'm gone. Like, it's over. Like, I'm not even thinking about what that might be. I'm already thinking about, I got to watch one video. I don't want to watch 2 videos. Like, so I feel the same way about that as I do with those. So someone would probably kick me out in the marketing world, but I say, no, I wouldn't worry about those.
And to that point, though, there
yes.
were several times that ad is rolled, and it was better than the video I was about to watch. And I'm like,
yeah, so yeah.
How do I find this video? I want to watch this again.
Yeah.
So if it's done, but you have to have like high production, you have to really do it well,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, it's a good point. Good point. Absolutely. There's a few that I've watched, but for the most part, I just think if you're a small business, like most people in this room, you don't have an unlimited amount of marketing budget, I would spend it elsewhere, not on those things right now, yes. But if you're a big company, yeah, there's no reason not to go for it. Any other questions? Comments? Cries of outrage? Yes, sir.
Would your presentation be available, we can look at after this meeting?
Yeah, Tim has recorded it, and where's it going to be?
It should be on our Facebook page and also on the Chamber's Facebook page,
Yeah,
and then upload it to YouTube, I believe.
there you go. And we'll eventually put it up too.
Thank you, Josh.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you.
And thank you again for everyone to come and spread the word about these new knowledge classes. So folks that you know, there's a lot of good content that we try to provide that educate people. Our next class is going to be November 6th, taught by Barry Myers from Strongwell, and it's going to be on online sales.